Hi guys, I'm your host Abby McCracken, and this is The Table Unfiltered. I have our part 2 guest with us. We have, like I said in the last one, we had so many problems recording this, and so I think this is the third time for this video.
Isn't this take 4?
No, I think for this video is take 3, but let's just get right into it. So the question that I have for you specifically, I hope you guys all listened to the last one, but this one I'm really excited about based off of what I know she's going to answer.
So you weren't excited about the last one?
No, I was excited about the last one, but I think with what month it is, so in the world it's obviously June, so it's Pride Month in the world, but in the Christian community it's Life Month. I don't know who created that, but so I can't give honor where honor's due, but I think it's so important with not just unborn babies, but babies. We talked about deliverance in the last video, but I think any child is a blessing, and I think there's a lot of people that have grown up believing the lies. And so my question for you is, in your personal life, what has been, and I know it's going to be a spiritual answer of a table, but where have you seen Jesus come through as a table in your life? Like, what's a table that means something to you?
Okay, so really to think about something that means absolute everything to me, we have to back up a little bit. I'm going to give you my mom's testimony. I wish she was here, could give it to you, but she's went on to be with the Lord now. But this is something that is pivotal in my life. So it's a foundation to who I am. So years ago when my mom and dad got married, for each of them it was their third marriage. So you can imagine when you have someone that's living backslidden and someone who's never been saved, they have a whole lot of kids and they get married, how ugly it can be.
They had 8 kids at the time.
And they get married. It really just kind of an odd set of circumstances, but they get married and they weren't married too long, and my mom found out she was pregnant. And at that time, she went in, got things looked at, and yes, you're pregnant. And at that time, it's right after Roe versus Wade.
Yeah.
So abortion's legal, right? It's okay because it's legal. And she pondered it and she thought, really don't want this baby.
Yeah.
And it was more of looking at the financials of it, one more child, one more everything, really don't want this baby.
Most of the money went out to
child support for other children. And you kind of just have that thought. And she kind of left it as a thought and was pondering it and just left it that way. And weekly she'd go out and have lunch with her mom and my grandma. And grandma was incredibly saved. I like to jokingly say she's a fire-breathing Pentecostal charismatic. So that was my grandma.
She was Pentecostal before that was cool to be Pentecostal.
It really was. What she just read the Bible and thought, well, Jesus could do it then, he can do it now.
Yeah.
That was how my grandma was. And
she was a short little lady.
4'11", and boy, she was powerful. And she, my mom went out, lunch like she normally would every week, and she's getting ready to leave, and my grandma, she turned just to say, bye, like you would your mama, give her a hug and head out. And she did reach in and give her a hug, and my grandma told her, Doris, that thing you're pondering in your heart, do not do. It is a gift from the Lord. And she said, okay. She didn't really acknowledge anything, and she left, and she still didn't say anything. She waited a little bit before she even went to my dad and said, hey, there's another baby.
Yeah.
It was just heavy, right? It's those things we ponder and it's heavy. She finally did and told my dad and told him everything my grandma had said. And you gotta realize my dad, total heathen from a bunch of heathens, no grid for God at all.
Yeah.
Where my mom did have a grid for God. And so they went on with the pregnancy. Horrible pregnancy. Sick. Didn't really get all that big, problem after problem, a lot of physical things, and at 6 months she ended up in the delivery room, false labor, and they sent her home, but 2 weeks later she's back again, and this time things can't be stopped. And she knows too soon, right? And in this whole process, earlier in the process of this pregnancy, she'd had, seen the doctor and they checked things out, and he brought up abortion because it wasn't developing properly. Things were not developing properly. They were talking no legs, no arms, probably blind, and just not okay. And so she's carried this whole pregnancy, and it was an ugly pregnancy. And now she's on this delivery table, and she's in this room, and you've got the doctors. They're behind the.
And then this time, like the husbands and all that weren't in there.
Waiting room. They never came in.
Yeah.
So you got doctors behind like a curtain, and they're talking. And she said she could remember one was eating his hamburger because it was his lunchtime, right? And they're saying, well, the tests have come back. This baby has no arms. Mm-hmm. There's no legs. The head looked misshapen. They were pretty sure blind. There's all these things. And my mom,
a vegetable of a baby.
They said there probably wouldn't be much life there. That was where they were leaving it. And she can hear them talking. And she's laying on the delivery bed all by herself. And she said, God, if you spare the life of my child, I'll serve you all the days of my life.
Yeah.
And about at that time, she could hear these really fast little footsteps coming down the corridor, hit the delivery room doors. So this is like an OR room. This isn't like in a hospital now. Who knows how she got back there? But hit those doors and told the gentleman, bow your head, the Lord has woke me. And she came right in, and my grandma, she could speak in tongues like nobody. I mean, bring heaven right here. And she just took off in tongues and just put her hand on my mama's belly, and the baby leaped. And at that time, my mom said for all of her days, it was in her mind that the doctor dropped his hamburger to catch a baby. It was that quick. And here I am. I'm number 9. And 3 pounds, 3 ounces. I have my arms, I have my legs, and, I can see.
Yeah.
And it was just that, so the table for me, and it's such a beautiful story. It's such a glorious testimony. I can't tell you how many times in my life I've heard it.
And it changed the course of your family.
It did. It changed everything. It changed the trajectory of all my brothers and sisters because Mom and Dad got saved.
Yeah.
Their life changed. And
it took your dad a little bit longer.
It took him a year because he's stubborn. But
yeah. But it changed their life, which
changed our lives.
Yeah.
Which, and you think about the circles of your life, it wasn't just for them, right?
Yeah.
It changed the kids.
I mean, I wouldn't be here because you guys were done having kids, and my papa prophesied me into existence.
He did. And he said, there's one more, and she's going to take the nations. And I was like, no, there's not. But they knew what they were talking about. But in that, such a table for me. If you think about the things we build on, it's glorious, it's beautiful, but I want to shift it a little bit because I need you to hear this. Even in the beauty of that, my mom sacrificed her life and said, Lord, if you do this for me, I will serve you forever. And she did. Her last breath was saying, Father God, here I am.
Yeah.
So she did, and she was faithful to it. And I think that's one of the main things I learned from her was to be faithful to what you say to the Lord. She's like, you saved me, and I'm going to lay my life down for you. And I heard that my whole life. Yet the enemy has such a way of spinning the truth.
He's such a legalist.
He's such a jerk. And really, most of my childhood, I didn't hear the beauty of my Lord saved my family.
Yeah.
He changed my family. I heard abortion was legal and you were unwanted.
Yeah.
That's the spin that the enemy used on me. And it took a lifetime. I mean, I'm older now, much older.
Don't have me guess.
54 years old. But I can remember as a child wanting things to be different, wanting to feel like, if I was only loved. I was always loved.
Yeah.
And I had my mom and my dad tell me I was a promise. I never heard that part.
Yeah.
I heard that I was unwanted until the Lord really had to step in, and I had to put a kibosh to that lie and say, enemy, get behind me.
Yeah.
That's not a truth. That's not who I am. So really the table for me is realizing the faithfulness of God and that he's so good. He steps into the situations, and he doesn't just partly take care of them. He takes care of it in such a way that it's not just for you, it's for those around you. I was reading this morning about, when Moses was saved as a baby, it wasn't necessarily for Moses' salvation. That's a beautiful thing. It was for Egypt's salvation. It's not just, what we go through, and the tables we make and the things that we walk through aren't just for us.
Yeah.
It's for those around us. My mom's yes was not just for her. Yes, it was amazing in her life, and she did something with it. But it wasn't just for her. It was for her children and her children's children.
Yeah.
I mean, how many generations are affected because she was willing to say yes and stuck to it?
Yeah.
Lord, if you save me, I'll serve you all the days of my life. Some of us throw that out there because it's easy to throw out there in the moment because there's a need, or we're afraid, or the circumstances are just too much. It's another thing to the next day to get up and remember the word you said and follow it out. And being that I was thinking today about what are we going to talk about this time, but Life Month.
Yeah.
And I think I was taken a little bit different in my brain because I was thinking, is your yes, and is your no, your no? We look at pride and we look at everything that goes around with it, and we know it's a lack of identity. It's a lack of understanding who the Father has made them to be. And abortion and all those things that go on with it, it's the easy route.
Yeah.
As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. It's hard. It takes work to serve the Lord. If nobody told you that, now you've heard it now. It takes effort every day to say no to your flesh and yes to the Lord.
Yeah.
Because if it was easy, that pathway would be a lot wider.
Yeah.
It's a narrow path because it's hard. And to live a life truly with the Lord, it's the most beautiful thing you're ever going to do. It's the most joyous thing you're ever going to do. It is the best, most life-giving thing you can ever do. And it's the hardest thing you're ever going to put your hand to.
Yeah.
Something so amazing, yet it takes effort. Life takes effort. It's easy to take the other path.
Yeah.
But to walk with it.
Easy not just to take the other path, but to walk step by step, slowly on the narrow road and keeping your garbage.
Oh, yes.
As it gets narrower and narrower.
Yet, it's like as you start walking a path, eventually those things you're dragging up that hill because you're headed up a hill. I mean, we've all gone hiking. Some of us hate it. Some of us...
Some of us love it.
But, the higher you go up a mountain, the narrower the path gets.
Yeah. And there's certain things you can't bring to the top.
You can't bring to the top. And you can't get someone else to carry them for you to the top. It's not their job. And eventually you have to be able to carry your own stuff. And that means the stuff that you shouldn't be carrying, you have to let go. And you can't blame someone else for the stuff you're carrying. If you're carrying that rock, if I'm carrying a rock, it isn't because it's Abby's fault. I'm carrying that rock because I'm holding on to it.
Yeah.
And if I don't want to be holding on to it, I need to let it go.
Yeah.
And walk without it. It's the higher you go up the mountain, the more you have to walk in the bounds of who you are and what you can do. You can't, it's nobody else's responsibility. It's you and the Lord.
Yeah. And I feel like the higher you get up on the mountain, I believe it's the ascending the hill of the Lord. but in proximity, there's things that fade. And so I think with the narrow road, like there's things that will fade. And when you're running with people, you're walking with people, when they have the absolute desire to pursue the Lord and they're laying those things down, it's really easy to be like, oh, well, they abandoned me. Oh, they did this. Oh, they did that. And it's easy to pick up those lies that, your mom's testimony, amazing testimony, set literally your family free. It set all of us free, like the generations to come. Like, my mom could have been an abortion, and then a few months ago we were talking about abortion or something at church, and my dad was a byproduct of a teen pregnancy around the same time, like where abortion was legal. And I know that thought went past my grandma's head. Like, she was a teenager, came from an abusive home, passing down abuse, just the whole thing was messy. And so my parents are both byproducts of not being aborted, and then they had a hard time getting pregnant and having babies, and then I wasn't supposed to be born. Like, they were done having babies after my siblings, and then my grandparents prophesied me into existence, which I know I'm the favorite child, so praise God for that. But then that generational thing of like trying to rob, because the reality is what they did is they robbed death. Yeah. Like, just like our King Jesus, they rob death because they're choosing life. Like, every baby that's born in that. So half of my generation is gone because of abortion. That means that all the people that are left, they're so apt to have abortions because we're the life generation. Mm-hmm. Like, we're literally the life generation. And I believe that because of that, we could raise the dead. Like, genuinely, I believe that. Because we've literally, half of our generation is alive because their families chose life. And so what does the Lord do? He's like, man, I'm gonna make them dead raisers. Yep. And then my siblings, both of my nieces, are miracle babies. My sister wasn't supposed to have a baby. My sister-in-law technically shouldn't have had a baby, and I'm about to have my third niece. Like, that's life and life more abundantly. That's breaking the curse.
It is breaking the curse.
And I think it's really easy to look at that and be like, man, to wallow in my own junk instead of realizing there was people that paid a high price. I'm running with people that paid a high price. Why wouldn't I want to lay something down? Why wouldn't I want to run with you guys instead of sit there and be like, oh my gosh. Like, I look at a lot of my cousins' lives and it makes me so sad because there was a high price paid for their freedom. And yet they're choosing to sit in their own familiarity, their own junk, their own garbage, and taking on a generational curse that was already broken.
Yeah.
And that, like, it makes me so furious because it's like there's life and life more abundantly, and it's looking at the cross wrong. It's looking at freedom wrong.
Right. We have to realize people get stuck, well, this is life. There's life, but are you living?
Yeah.
There's getting by, and sometimes, like, I'm saved, I have my ticket to heaven, and here I go. Great, you have life. But are you living life and more abundantly? Are you living? Are you walking out the things that God paid for? I mean, I have times I ponder and I wonder, am I walking out the things that my mama sacrificed for?
Yeah.
Or when we sit in church, because years ago my mama was the church secretary in the building I sit in now. And I know when she was here and there was, she would go out and she would pray in that sanctuary. She would cry in that sanctuary. Her tears are still in that carpet.
Yeah.
I don't care if I've cleaned it some minute. I know her tears are still in that carpet. She fought for something. She sacrificed for something. Am I laying down and running after the Lord? Not just the good things. We're like, everything's good. We're doing good. Yeah, but is it what God has for you?
Yeah.
When you're willing to just keep walking, even giving up the things that are good in this life, but God has something more for you.
Yeah.
It's the willingness to sacrifice. I mean, like you brought up your cousins. I think my brothers and sisters, they forgot what Mama and Dad fought for. They forgot where we were called from. They forgot
everything that happened at those tent meetings that you guys would travel to every weekend because God was on the move. And my grandparents paid a high price as soon as they got saved that we're going to be on the cutting edge of a move of God.
And they till their last breath.
Yeah.
And I feel a responsibility. There's 9 of us. We're not all living now, but there's 9 of us. That's 9 generational lines. They got 10% of that. I mean, there's what, 1?
Yeah.
And I refuse to give up what my parents fought for.
Yeah.
I have a responsibility to carry that on. Their sacrifice wasn't just for them.
Yeah, it reminds me, like, on Facebook, I always post about, or like socials, what God's doing. And I've had so many people from my mom's family that like comment like, way to do it for the family, Abby. You're getting the family saved. You're bringing us into righteousness. And I'm not doing it for them. No. Like, I'm doing it because Jesus has asked me to. And my yes doesn't change your no.
Yeah.
Like, you've chose a path, and you're sitting in that, and they're not saved or anything like that. And I'm happy they're reading about these things, but it's not just for me. It's like, you could be doing that. You could be not in the stuckness. You could be out of the pit and actually living in the kingdom, thriving in the kingdom, but you're choosing not to. And you've seen it. Like, I would say my grandma's funeral was probably the most packed funeral because she made an impact on everybody's life. Yeah. My papa made an impact on everybody's life. My papa made an impact on my life. He made me a tire swing, and I worshipped there every single day as a little girl. And my mom would be like, "We gotta go home," and he's like, "No, let her worship, let her worship." And that's where I heard the voice of God. That's where I learned my call. Not just a prophet saying it, but that's where I stewarded the call, where I started dreaming with God. And so all of these things have happened because of his obedience to build me a tire swing and have me sit in a place to worship the Lord.
Yeah. And it's coming down to I guess that's the table I'm sitting at right now. If we really, what we're talking about is, am I going to be faithful? Not just the call that's on my life, but think about Hebrews 11. We know that as a faith, we know what they did for the Lord because they were willing to sacrifice. Yeah. Are you?
Yeah.
Am I?
Yeah. Is
my yes, is it going to be the same yes today that it is tomorrow?
Yeah.
Or is it going to be harder tomorrow? Life is full of things. There's circumstances, there's ups, there's downs, and all that. But the Lord didn't ask us to go up and down with the circumstances. He said, follow Him.
Yeah, come on.
And that's the steadiness of our walk, is we're not supposed to be up in our emotions and down in our emotions and, going here to there by every wind of doctrine or every whisper in our ear. It's setting your face on the Father and following Him.
Yeah.
Even if it is up that mountain and you realize, you look back and you're like, oh wow, nobody's behind me and I haven't been, where is everybody?
Yeah.
But you're going where the Lord sent you. And it's okay. It's okay. Would you rather get to heaven someday and hear Him say, wow, you did really good with your group of people that you stayed with and you wouldn't move beyond?
Mm-hmm.
Or, thank you so much for following me into those dark places.
Yeah. I think how we're going to end today, I was going to have her pray and all that stuff, but I really feel like the Lord is saying just a question. Because all this comes down to, all Pride Month comes down to is selfishness.
Yeah.
All abortion comes down to is selfishness. Life comes down to is selfishness. Like, if you're going to choose life or death, it's not everybody else, it's you. It's you and your selfishness. Mm-hmm. And we can put all the different things and say, well, it's this, it's this, it's this. No, it's selfishness. Yeah. Like, that's all it comes down to. Well, my daddy did this. Are you selfish to keep that trauma? Yeah. And my question to just leave with you guys is, are you ready to sacrifice your own selfishness to walk into the plans and purposes of God? And that's where I'm just going to leave it.
Yeah.
So, like, subscribe, you know how it is. I'm really excited to share the next video with you guys after this. I will be talking about, I went to a gay pride festival with some people and we preached Jesus and it was beautiful what happened. So I'm excited to share that with you guys. So stay tuned for that. Bye.